The twin suns of the colony world burned low in the sky, painting the rocky valley with deep red light. The town was small, built with metal walls and dusty roads, surrounded by ancient alien ruins that no one cared about anymore. Most people walked fast past those ruins, treating them as nothing more than broken stones of a dead age. But Alex, a young human teen, often stopped to look. He always noticed her there sitting alone, an alien elder wrapped in torn gray cloth. Her skin was pale blue, faded with age, and strange white markings ran across her arms like old scars. Her eyes were sharp, glowing faintly when the sun dipped. The townsfolk whispered about her. They called her the crazy elder, the useless one, and sometimes even the cursed witch. Children were warned not to go near her. Merchants spat when she walked past, but Alex could not stop looking. Something about her made him curious. Why would someone choose to sit in the cold dust every single day, watching the ruins as if waiting for something? Why did she never beg for food, never ask for water, never complain? She just sat and watched, silent like the stones. One afternoon, after finishing work at the repair shop, Alex walked home along the usual path. He saw her again. Her head was low, her hands resting on a crooked staff made of bone and metal. The wind blew her cloak aside, and for a moment, Alex saw glowing patterns across her chest. They pulsed faintly. Like lights hidden under her skin, his breath caught. He had never seen anything like that before. The elder raised her head slowly. Her eyes met his. For a second, Alex felt a chill. Her stare was not weak or broken. It was powerful, almost heavy. It was the kind of look that could see straight through him. He quickly looked away and hurried down the street. But his heart beat fast. Later that night, he asked his father about her. His father frowned and shook his head. "Stay away from that woman, Alex. She is dangerous. People say she was once part of something terrible. No one wants to remember it. That is why she sits by the ruins, forgotten." Alex wanted to ask more, but his father refused. The warning only made him more curious. The next day, Alex carried a small piece of bread in his pocket. He passed the ruins slowly. The elder sat as always. Staring at the broken towers, Alex stopped. His hands trembled. He pulled the bread out and placed it on the stone near her. She turned her head, her sharp eyes catching his again. For a long moment she did not speak. Then a sound came from her lips, a whisper like dry wind. "Kindness is a dangerous thing." Her voice was rough but deep. The words made Alex shiver. He wanted to run, but his feet froze. She reached out with thin fingers and touched the bread. Her nails were dark, almost metallic. She lifted the bread carefully, as if it were gold. "Why do you give me this?" she asked. Alex swallowed. "Because you look hungry," he said simply. Her lips curved, not in a smile, but in something else, like sorrow. "Hungry," she repeated softly. "Yes, child. Hungry for more than bread." Then she ate slowly, her glowing eyes never leaving him. That night Alex could not sleep. He kept hearing her voice, kept seeing the strange glow under her skin. The town saw her as forgotten, useless, mad, but he had felt something else, something hidden, something waiting. The following week, Alex passed the ruins again. He expected her to ignore him. Instead, she raised her head before he even spoke. "You came back," she said. Her voice carried a strange weight. "Do you know what watches in the ruins?" "Boy," Alex frowned. "Just broken stones," he replied. She shook her head slowly. "Stones remember. They whisper to those who listen." Her words confused him, but also pulled him in. He felt as if the ruins themselves were alive, as if they were holding secrets too old and too heavy for the world to carry. The elder lowered her gaze, her hands tightening on her staff. "Go home, child," she said sharply. "The less you know, the safer you are." But Alex did not leave right away. He stood there staring at her thin figure, the way her eyes glowed faintly in the dark. He felt the air shift around the ruins, colder, heavier for a moment. He thought he saw shadows move among the broken stones. When he finally walked away, his chest was tight. He could not explain it. But he knew one thing for certain. The elder was not just a forgotten woman. Something about her was wrong, strange, and important. She was not what people believed. And deep in his heart, Alex knew if he kept showing kindness, he might uncover the truth everyone else was too afraid to see. The next morning was cold. The winds from the mountains cut through the small colony town. Alex carried his work tools in a small bag, but his mind was not on work. His thoughts stayed on the strange elder, her glowing eyes, her whisper about danger, and the way she held that bread as if it was more than food. All day he worked with machines, fixing broken pumps and patching up leaking pipes. But his hands moved without focus. His friends laughed and played in the streets. But Alex barely noticed. He kept hearing her voice. Kindness is a dangerous thing. The words circled in his head like a riddle he could not solve. When the suns began to set, he found himself walking toward the ruins again. His father had warned him the neighbors would scold him if they saw. But Alex could not stay away. Something inside told him that this elder was different. More than the town wanted to believe. She was already there, sitting with her crooked staff, her head lowered. Alex hesitated, then pulled from his bag a small container of stew he had saved. The smell of warm herbs filled the air. The elder's head lifted slowly. Her eyes glowed in the twilight. She looked at him in silence as he placed the container near her. "You came back," she whispered. Her voice cracked but carried strength. Alex nodded. "I thought you might need this." She stared at him for a long time, then finally took the stew. Her thin hands trembled slightly as she raised the spoon to her lips. She ate slowly, savoring every bite. "Why?" she asked again. "Why do you bring me food? When your own people turn away?" Alex shrugged. "Because no one else does, and because it's the right thing." For the first time, something like a smile flickered across her face. Though it was small and sad. "You are young," she said softly. "Too young to see the weight of truth." She set the empty container aside and leaned closer. Her glowing eyes narrowed. "These ruins are not just broken stones, boy, they are bones. Bones of a history buried by lies." Alex's breath caught. He wanted to ask what she meant, but her voice grew lower as if she feared unseen ears. "Once I was not forgotten, I was feared, respected, obeyed. But they took it all, they erased me. They called me mad so others would not listen." Her fingers gripped the staff. The glow under her skin pulsed faintly like fire beneath thin glass. Alex's heart raced. Was she telling the truth? Or was this the madness the townsfolk spoke of? He did not know, but the way she spoke, heavy with sorrow and anger, made him believe at least part of it. "Who erased you?" he asked carefully. The elder's eyes flicked toward the sky, where faint stars were beginning to appear. "Enemies with crowns of steel and voices that command empires," she whispered. "They feared what I knew. They feared what I carried." She fell silent then, her body shaking. Her hand pressed to her chest as if holding something inside. "And even now they still fear me." A shiver ran down Alex's back. He looked around at the ruins, the broken towers, the dark shadows between the stones for the first time. He felt as if the air itself was alive, listening. The ruins seemed less like rubble and more like a sleeping beast. The elder raised her head again. "Child, your kindness binds you now. You cannot walk away clean. They will see you. They will notice." Her words made him step back, his throat dry. "Who will notice?" he asked. But she gave no answer. She only lowered her head once more and muttered. "Go home, boy, before the darkness stirs." Alex left. His feet heavy, his chest tight, he walked through the streets of the colony. The laughter of children and the noise of merchants felt far away. He could not shake her words. Could kindness really bring danger? Could giving food and listening to an old woman truly put him in risk? That night he dreamed of glowing towers rising from the ruins, of shadows moving through the streets, of voices whispering his name. He woke sweating. His heart pounded as if something had followed him out of the dream. The next day he tried to avoid the ruins, but by evening his steps betrayed him. He walked the same path, and there she was again. The elder looked up before he even spoke, her eyes gleaming faintly. "You could not stay away," she said. Alex swallowed hard. "No," he admitted. "I want to know the truth." She studied him for a long while, her face unreadable. Then she leaned on her staff and whispered, "Then prepare yourself, boy, for truth does not come free. It comes with blood, with pain, and with choices you cannot escape." Her words struck him like a cold wind. He wanted to walk away, yet something stronger kept him rooted in that moment. Alex understood one thing clearly. The kindness he had shown was no longer just about bread or stew. It had opened a door into secrets the entire colony wanted buried, and now that door could never be closed again. The storm came without warning. The twin suns had barely set when dark clouds gathered above the colony. Thunder rolled across the valley and the winds howled like wild beasts. Most of the townsfolk rushed inside, shutting their doors tight. But Alex found himself drawn once again to the ruins. His heart beat fast as if something was calling him there. He ran through the rain, his clothes soaked. When he reached the broken towers, he saw her, the elder, still sitting in the same place, her thin cloak whipped in the wind. Rain poured down, but she did not move. She sat as if the storm did not touch her. Alex wanted to shout, to tell her to find shelter. But before he could, a bolt of lightning cracked across the sky. Striking dangerously close, the flash lit up the ruins, and for a heartbeat Alex saw her clearly. Her skin glowed with patterns of light, spreading across her arms, chest, and face. They pulsed like veins filled with fire. Alex froze, his breath caught in his throat. The elder lifted her staff and tapped it against the ground. At once a shimmer spread around her body, a transparent shield of energy. The rain no longer touched her. The wind curved around her. It was as if she sat inside an invisible dome, untouched by the fury of nature. Alex stumbled forward, staring in awe. How are you doing that?" he whispered. The elder turned her glowing eyes toward him. Her expression was calm but heavy with power. "This is not doing, boy," she said softly. "This is remembering." Her words made no sense to him, yet his body trembled. He stepped closer, watching the way the patterns on her skin shifted and glowed. The shield shimmered brighter. The storm seemed to fear her. Lightning bending away, thunder rolling softer. "You're not just an old woman," Alex whispered. "You're something else." For a moment, silence filled the air, then she spoke, her voice carrying a weight that pressed against his chest. "Once I was a leader. Once I carried the voices of thousands. I was their shield, their strength, but betrayal is a heavy blade. And even the strongest can fall." Alex's heart pounded. He wanted to ask 100 questions, but she raised a hand and the glowing shield widened, wrapping around him too. The rain no longer touched his skin. His body felt warm, safe, his fear mixed with wonder. "You should not have seen this," she said, her voice low. "Now you carry my burden. Kindness has tied us together, and the threads of fate are not easy to cut." Alex swallowed hard. "Why hide it?" he asked. "Why let them call you mad when you have this power?" Her face turned away, sorrow deep in her eyes. "Because power draws enemies, boy. Because the moment I reveal myself, the old hunters will come. They never forgot me. They only wait for me to rise again so they can strike me down." Her words sent a chill through Alex. He looked at the ruins around them, the shadows shifting in the stormlight. He suddenly understood. The ruins were not just broken stones. They were scars, scars of something terrible, something that had destroyed her past. The elder lowered her staff, the shield flickered, then faded. Rain hit Alex's shoulders again, cold and heavy. She seemed weaker now, the glow fading from her skin. Her breath came hard, as if even this small display had cost her. "Why tell me?" Alex asked. "Why not keep it hidden?" She looked at him with tired eyes. "Because you gave me food. Because you listened when others turned away, and because you remind me of the ones I lost." Her voice broke on the last words, and Alex felt a sharp ache in his chest. The storm raged on, but they stood in silence. Alex finally whispered, "Then let me help you, whatever this is. Whatever secret you're carrying, you don't have to carry it alone." The elder shook her head slowly. "You are just a boy, and yet perhaps that is why you may succeed where others failed. You do not seek power. You only seek truth." Her hand trembled as she gripped her staff tighter. She closed her eyes, and the ruins around them seemed to hum faintly. Alex felt the vibrations under his feet, the stones pulsing like a heartbeat. The elder opened her eyes again, glowing brighter than before. "There are chambers beneath these ruins," she whispered. "Places sealed for centuries if you wish to know more. You must follow me there, but once you enter, there is no turning back." Alex's pulse raced. Fear and excitement mixed in his veins. He nodded. "I'll go." She studied him carefully, then finally gave a slow nod. "Then prepare yourself, boy. The hidden bones of the past are heavy, and once you see them, you will never be the same." The storm thundered overhead, but Alex no longer noticed. He only felt the weight of the moment. The forgotten elder was no longer just a shadow on the edge of town. She was a storm herself, one that had slept for too long, and now, because of his kindness, she was awakening. The storm had passed by morning, but the air over the colony still carried the smell of wet stone and burned ozone. Alex could not focus on his work. He kept remembering the glow under the elder's skin, the shield that turned away the storm, and her final words about hidden chambers beneath the ruins. His heart told him he had stepped into something far bigger than himself. That evening, as the sun sank low, he returned to the ruins. The elder was waiting, her crooked staff planted firmly into the ground. She did not greet him with words, only a steady look. Alex felt a shiver run down his back. It was as if she already knew he had come prepared. "Follow me," she said simply. Her voice carried no doubt. Alex nodded. Together they walked into the ruins, weaving through broken towers and fallen walls. The place was quiet, yet alive in a strange way. The air hummed faintly, as if the stones themselves whispered. They stopped before a half-buried archway. Covered with moss and sand, the elder raised her hand, and the markings on her skin began to glow again. The stones trembled, dust falling in soft streams. Slowly, the archway cracked open, revealing a dark passage leading below. Alex's breath caught. He felt his chest tighten. But curiosity pushed him forward. They stepped inside. The air was cool, filled with the smell of ancient dust. Their footsteps echoed down narrow halls carved in stone. Strange symbols covered the walls, glowing faintly as the elder passed. "Who built this place?" Alex whispered. The elder's voice echoed in the tunnel. "My people, long before humans arrived on this world. We were strong, proud, guardians of knowledge, but pride can blind, and betrayal comes easiest from those closest." Her words carried a weight that made Alex's chest heavy. After a long descent, the passage opened into a vast chamber. Alex froze in awe. The cavern stretched wide, filled with pillars of glowing crystal. In the center lay a massive table of stone, covered in carvings that shimmered faintly. Beside it were racks of strange objects, half weapons, half machines. Alex stepped closer. His hand brushing one of the glowing carvings, it lit up under his touch, sending a line of light racing across the table. The elder's eyes narrowed. "It recognizes you," she said softly. "The ruins choose who may enter, and they have accepted you." "What is all this?" Alex asked. His voice shook with wonder. The elder placed her hand on the table. Her glow spread into the carvings, filling the chamber with pale blue light. Images flickered above the stone. Holograms of ships, armies, and worlds. Alex gasped. "This," she said, her voice steady, "is history. The true history they erased. The council that rules today feared my people. They feared me, because we guarded knowledge older than their empire. So they destroyed us, burned our names, and left me to rot in shadows." The holograms shifted, showing battles in the stars, towering warships colliding, beams of fire tearing worlds apart. Alex stared in horror. "You were a general," he whispered. She looked at him, her glowing eyes filled with both pride and pain. "I was more than a general. I was chosen to guard the core, the heart of our people's strength. But betrayal cut me down and I hid, waiting, hoping someone might remember." Alex's pulse raced. He realized he was standing in the middle of something lost to the galaxy, secrets buried under his very town. "Why show me this?" he asked, her voice softened. "Because you gave me kindness when others gave me silence. You saw me when I was invisible, and now you must choose to carry this secret, or to turn away forever." The chamber grew darker, the holograms fading. The elder leaned on her staff, her body trembling. Alex stepped forward quickly. "Are you all right?" She waved a hand. "The power is heavy. It weighs more with each year I carry it. That is why I need you, boy. I am fading, but the truth must live." Before Alex could answer, a sound echoed from the passage behind them. His body stiffened, heavy footsteps, metal scraping against stone. The elder's eyes hardened. "They are here," she whispered. Alex's blood turned cold. "Who?" he asked. She gripped her staff tighter. "The ones who never stopped watching. The council's shadows." The footsteps drew closer. The glow of red lights flickered in the hall. Alex's throat went dry for the first time. He felt the danger of her words. This was not just stories or ruins, it was real, and it was here. The elder stood tall, her skin glowing brighter. "Stay behind me," she ordered. Alex's heart pounded as the chamber filled with the sound of approaching enemies. He glanced once more at the glowing crystals, the carvings, the proof of everything she said. Then he looked at her, the forgotten elder who was no longer weak or broken. In that moment he understood. She was not just a strange old woman by the ruins. She was power, she was history, and now, because of his kindness, he was part of her story too. The chamber trembled with each step that echoed from the passage. Red lights flickered in the darkness like the eyes of predators. Alex's stomach twisted. His breath came fast as he pressed closer to the elder. The ruins had always felt mysterious, but now they felt alive with danger. The elder's glow brightened. Spreading across her arms and staff, she stood tall, no longer a forgotten woman but a figure of strength. "They have found me," she whispered. Her voice was calm, but Alex could hear the weight in it. The shadows of the council, they never let go of their prey. From the tunnel emerged tall figures clad in dark armor. Their helmets covered their faces, and their weapons crackled with blue energy. They moved with perfect silence, only the hum of their machines filling the air. Alex's knees weakened. He had never seen anything like them before. They looked like hunters made for only one purpose, erasing the past. The elder raised her staff. The markings on her skin flared. A barrier of light formed between them and the hunters. The soldiers stopped, scanning her. One stepped forward and spoke in a cold, mechanical voice. "By order of the Galactic Council, you are to be silenced, Elder Serenia. You carry forbidden memory." Alex's eyes widened. "Elder Serenia," he whispered the name under his breath. At last the woman had a name, not crazy elder or useless outcast, but Serenia. The name carried power. It felt ancient, it felt alive. Serenia's voice thundered in the chamber. "I was erased, but not destroyed. I was buried, but not broken. You fear me because truth is stronger than your lies." Her words shook the air. The hunters lifted their weapons. The barrier sizzled as blue bolts of energy struck it. Alex covered his ears as the noise roared. Sparks flew as Serenia held the barrier. Her body trembled, but her eyes burned bright. She shouted, "Alex?" But Alex shook his head. His fear was great. But something stronger held him in place. "No," he cried. "I won't leave you." The hunters kept firing, their weapons tearing chunks from the stone walls. Dust filled the air. Serenia pressed her staff harder to the ground. The barrier thickened, but Alex saw the strain in her face. The glow under her skin flickered like a dying flame. "Why now?" Alex shouted over the noise. "Why come after you now?" Serenia's voice was sharp. "Because they saw the light? Because you gave me strength again. My silence kept me hidden, but your kindness woke the storm." Her words struck Alex like lightning. He realized the truth by helping her. He had changed everything the council had noticed. The enemies had returned. Suddenly, one of the hunters broke through the barrier, leaping forward with a blade of pure energy. Alex screamed. Serenia swung her staff, light clashing against the blade. Sparks exploded. The force threw Alex backward. He hit the stone floor hard, his chest aching. Serenia fought with the strength of someone far younger. Each strike of her staff sent waves of energy through the chamber. The hunters staggered but pressed on. They were many, and she was only one. Alex forced himself to his feet. His hands shook, his mind screamed to flee, but his heart told him to fight. He grabbed a fallen shard of crystal and hurled it at one of the hunters. The crystal shattered against armor, but the distraction gave Serenia an opening. With a roar, she slammed her staff into the ground. A shockwave of light burst outward, throwing the hunters back. Their armor sparked. Their weapons flickered. For a brief moment, the chamber was quiet. Alex stared in awe, breathing hard. Serenia stood tall, her staff glowing like fire, but her shoulders slumped, her body shook. Alex rushed to her side. "Are you all right?" She shook her head. "This was only the beginning. They will return stronger." "More of them." Her voice grew soft. "The council does not forgive, and now they know you stand with me." Alex's chest tightened. "Me?" he asked. She nodded slowly. "You showed kindness, you touched the ruins. They recognized you, you are marked now. They will not see you as a boy. They will see you as my ally." The thought made Alex's stomach twist. He was just a teen. He fixed pipes and carried tools. He was no warrior, but when he looked at Serenia, weary yet unbroken, he felt courage stir in him. "Then let them come," he said, his voice shaking but firm. "If they want to erase you again, they'll have to erase me too." For a long moment, Serenia studied him. Then slowly, her lips curved into the faintest smile. "You speak like a warrior," she whispered. Perhaps the ruins chose wisely after all. They left the chamber, stepping back into the night above. The skies were no longer clear. Strange ships glimmered in orbit. Their dark silhouettes blocked the stars. The colony below continued its life unaware, but Alex knew danger was already here. Serenia raised her staff to the sky. Her voice was heavy with resolve. "The council has returned," she said. "The forgotten elder will rise again, and the galaxy will tremble at the truth they tried to bury." Alex stood beside her, his fear swallowed by determination. For the first time in his life, he felt part of something greater. His kindness had uncovered her secret. His courage would decide what came next. And as the first shadow of the enemy ship drifted across the colony lights, Alex knew the war was no longer in the past. It had come back, and he was already part of it. The colony woke under a silent sky. The strange ships hovered high above, so far that ordinary townsfolk mistook them for drifting stars. But Alex knew better. He had seen the hunters in the ruins. He had felt the weight of the elders' words. The council was here, and they had not come for peace. Elder Serenia walked beside him, her staff striking the ground with every step. The glow in her skin was faint now, dimmed by the battle, yet her eyes carried fire. The people on the street stared as she passed. Some whispered curses, others looked away. Children tugged on their parents' arms, but no one dared to speak aloud. She was still the forgotten elder to them, still the outcast no one wanted to claim. Alex clenched his fists. He wanted to shout the truth, to tell them who she was. But Serenia stopped him with a glance. "Not yet," she whispered. "Truth is not believed until it is seen." They reached the town's old square, a cracked plaza once used for meetings but long abandoned. Serenia raised her staff. Alex felt the air shift. The ground hummed faintly. The ruins outside the town seemed to answer her call. A low vibration rolled through the streets, making windows rattle. People gasped as lights flickered to life along the broken walls of the ruins. "Look," Alex shouted, pointing. The glowing lines spread like veins racing across ancient stone. Towers that had been lifeless for centuries now pulsed with power. The crowd murmured in shock, their fear turned into unease, then into something else, curiosity. Serenia lifted her staff higher. Her voice carried across the square. "You called me mad. You called me useless. You called me cursed. But I am none of those things. I am Serenia, guardian of memory, protector of this world. And I will not let the council erase me again." Her words rolled like thunder. The ruins behind her blazed brighter. Symbols glowed on the towers, lifting streams of light into the sky. The people gasped, some fell to their knees. For the first time they saw her not as a beggar or a shadow, but as a figure of power. Alex felt pride surge in his chest. His kindness had brought her voice back to life. Now the whole colony was hearing it. But not all believed, a merchant shouted from the crowd. "Lies, she tricks us with old tricks. The council will save us from her madness." His words stirred fear again. Some nodded. Others shrank back. Serenia's gaze hardened. "The council does not save," she said. "They consume, they erase if you doubt me." Then look above at her words. The ships in orbit moved for the first time. The townsfolk saw the dark silhouettes blotting out the stars. Gasps of fear spread, children cried. The truth was undeniable now. The enemy was here, not as stories, but as shadows in the sky. Alex stepped forward, raising his voice. "She protected me. She saved me when the hunters came. If not for her, I would be dead. She is not mad. She is the reason we are still alive." The people looked between him and Serenia. Doubt lingered, but seeds of belief began to grow. Serenia's skin glowed brighter. She raised her staff once more. This time the ruins answered fully. A wave of light shot into the heavens, striking the ships above. The colony trembled as if the world itself had awakened. Alex stumbled back, his eyes wide. He had never seen anything so powerful. Serenia's voice shook the air. "I was buried in silence, but I rise again. No longer forgotten, no longer broken, I am the elder of light. And I will not bow." The crowd gasped, some cheered, others fell silent in awe. The merchant who had doubted her dropped to his knees, fear on his face. In that moment, the people saw the truth with their own eyes. Serenia was no cursed elder. She was their protector. Their shield. Alex's chest swelled with hope. For the first time, the colony was not ignoring her. They were watching, listening, believing. He turned to her. "They see you now." She looked down at him, her glowing eyes softening. "Because you saw me first," she whispered. But the awakening came with cost. The ships above shifted, beams of light cutting through the sky. The council had noticed her rise. "And they would not wait, Alex," she said firmly. "Gather them, tell them to prepare, the storm is coming." "I cannot fight it alone." Alex nodded. Fear twisted his stomach, but courage carried his voice. He turned to the crowd and shouted, "Stand with her, or we will all fall. The council is not here to protect us, they are here to erase us, but together with her we can resist," the people murmured. Some still hesitated, but others stepped forward. A soldier placed his hand over his heart. A farmer raised a tool like a weapon. Slowly, one by one, they began to stand behind Serenia. The ruins glowed brighter. The ground pulsed as if alive. Serenia's staff shone like fire. She looked at Alex, her voice steady. "This is the beginning, boy. You gave me kindness. Now we give them truth." Above, the council's ships roared. The sky darkened under their shadow. But in the colony below, hope had awakened. The forgotten elder was forgotten no longer. She had risen, and with her rose the courage of those who had once turned away. And Alex, standing at her side, felt a new strength inside his chest. He was no longer just a curious boy. He was part of the awakening, part of a fight that would shake the galaxy itself. The night sky burned with light. The council's ships moved closer, their shadows stretching across the colony like giant wings. The people stared upward in fear, some clutching their children, others gripping tools and old weapons. They had never faced anything beyond their small world. But now the galaxy itself had come to their doorstep. Elder Serenia stood at the center of the square, her staff glowing like a star. Her skin blazed with markings brighter than ever before. She no longer looked weak or forgotten. She looked like someone carrying the weight of ages. Alex stood beside her, his fists clenched, his heart racing. He had never been in a battle, but tonight he would not run. The ground shook as a voice boomed from the ships above, cold and commanding. "People of this colony, surrender the outcast known as Serenia. She is guilty of carrying forbidden power, refuse, and you will all share her fate." Fear spread through the crowd like fire. Some looked ready to give in, murmuring that one life was not worth the whole colony. Serenia lifted her staff and her voice thundered across the plaza. "I am not forbidden, I am forgotten, erased by those who feared the truth. They call it power, but it is not. It is memory, and memory is stronger than any weapon." Her words struck the people. Alex felt courage stir in him. He stepped forward, his voice rising. "She saved me. She protected me when the hunters came. If she falls, we all fall. I will stand with her." "Who will stand with me?" One by one, voices rose. A soldier slammed his fist to his chest. "With her?" A farmer raised his tool high. "With her." Even children cried out. "With her?" The square echoed with voices. Fear had not left. But it was no longer stronger than their courage. The council's ships descended lower. Beams of light cut through the sky. Hunters dropped from above, landing in the streets with weapons raised. The battle began. Energy bolts ripped through the night. The townsfolk scattered for cover, throwing stones, swinging tools, while the few soldiers fired their rifles. But against the council's hunters, they were outmatched. Serenia slammed her staff to the ground. A shield of light rose over the square, blocking the blasts. The markings on her skin flared so brightly Alex had to shield his eyes. "Stay close," she ordered. Her voice trembled but carried strength. The hunters struck again and again. Each blow shaking the shield, Serenia's body shook, sweat running down her face. Alex grabbed her arm. "You can't hold it forever." She looked at him, her glowing eyes soft but fierce. "That is why the truth must awaken now." She raised her staff higher, and the ruins outside the town blazed like fire. Towers of stone lit up, beams of light connected them. The ground trembled, dust fell from rooftops. The hunters paused, scanning in confusion. From deep beneath the earth, a sound rose, a low hum like a heartbeat. Alex gasped as the ground split open near the ruins. A massive structure began to rise, ancient metal covered in glowing lines. It was not a building, not just a machine, it was alive with power. "What is that?" Alex whispered. Serenia's voice was steady. "The heart of memory, the weapon they fear. It is not made to destroy, it is made to reveal." The hunters rushed forward in panic, firing wildly. Serenia spread her arms, her glow merging with the rising structure. Alex felt energy wash over him, not burning, not violent, but heavy with truth. Images burst into the sky, projected for all to see. Galaxies burning in ancient wars, fleets of ships, the betrayal of the council, and Serenia herself leading her people with honor. The crowd gasped. Some cried, some shouted. The lies they had been fed their whole lives fell apart in moments. The council's voice boomed again, angrier. "Silence her now," hunters charged. But the townsfolk stood in their way. Farmers swung their tools. Soldiers fired, even children threw rocks. Alex picked up a broken piece of metal and swung with all his strength. The colony fought not with power but with unity. Serena's voice filled the night. They cannot erase me, for I am not one voice, I am many. I am memory itself. The heart of memory blazed brighter. The council's ships trembled in the sky, their weapons faltering, their systems jammed. Their shadows began to retreat. The hunters staggered, their weapons flickering. One dropped to its knees, the light in its helmet fading. Another fell back into the dust. The people roared for the first time. They were winning. Alex ran to Serena. She was shaking, her glow dimming. "You're burning yourself out," he cried. She smiled weakly. "It is worth it." Her hand touched his shoulder. "But remember, boy, this power is not mine alone anymore. The ruins chose you too. You must carry it when I'm gone." His chest tightened. "No, you're not leaving. We need you." She shook her head gently. "You needed to see me rise. Now the galaxy needs to see you." Her staff blazed one last time. A wave of light exploded across the colony, sweeping through the streets, washing over the people in every mind. The truth was planted, the history, the betrayal, the courage. No one could erase it now. The ships above faltered, then turned away. Retreating into the stars, the hunters collapsed, their energy drained. Silence fell, broken only by the heavy breathing of the townsfolk. Serena sank to her knees, her glow fading. Alex caught her, tears burning in his eyes. "Stay with me," he begged. She looked at him with tired eyes, but her lips curved into a faint smile. "You gave me kindness, you gave me voice. You gave me one last fight. Remember, Alex, the truth cannot die. It only waits." Her glow faded. Her body slumped, but the ruins still blazed. The people fell to their knees, not in fear, but in respect. They whispered her name, Serena, Elder of Light. The forgotten elder who rose again. Alex stood holding her staff. His hands trembled, his heart ached, but when he looked at the people, he saw their eyes no longer filled with doubt. They looked at him with hope, with trust. He raised the staff high, his voice steady. "She is not gone, she lives in us. We carry her truth and we will never be erased again." The crowd roared. Their voices echoed across the ruins, across the colony, across the night sky itself. Serena's story was no longer forgotten. It was alive, and Alex knew this was only the beginning.